Welcome to Lucy Masterman's watercolor art exhibit, Reflecting on Light, currently on display here in the Porter Hall Gallery through January 12, 2025. Lucy Masterman currently resides in Tucson and has worked as a watercolor artist in Washington, D.C., New York City, and Kansas City. She has spent her professional career creating images in vivid watercolor. Her paintings are inspired by the beauty of nature and demonstrate a strong eye for light, design, and color. She has also held solo exhibits in Phoenix and Tucson, as well as San Diego and Kansas City, and has participated in juried exhibitions in museums and galleries across the country. Lucy says of her artistry, "I love to explore color and shape and the effects of light on the natural world. My works are generally large in scale for watercolor, and I use pigments intensely, often using the layering technique." Lucy enjoys the play of light and shadow on plants and trees and the reflection of light given from glass and windows. We're in conversation today with watercolor artist Lucy Masterman. Let's meet Lucy. Lucy, welcome and thank you for taking the time to talk with us today.
And thanks for asking me.
Please tell us about how you came to focus on watercolor as a medium and your process in creating new works.
I began watercolor painting as a transition from starting with oil and acrylic. I like transparency of color, so it seemed a logical evolution from the more opaque colors to watercolor. I also like the mental challenge of watercolor because you have to think backwards and you have to think about the lightest parts of the painting. You don't want to put a dark color first and then say, oh, I wanted that white, because the white is the paper, the watercolor paper. And case in point, this window here, all of the light parts of the window are the watercolor paper, the white. And then what I did was move in slowly with all of the reflections of this window with either a dry line or a wet glaze with my watercolor paint. So watercolor is just the medium that I am most comfortable with at this point.
Lucy, it's clear to me that you have a strong connection with Tucson Botanical Gardens. In fact, some of these beautiful works represent the historic Porter property and specific spaces out in the gardens. What's your connection and or inspiration?
My connection of the garden is strong. I grew up here in Tucson, a couple of miles away. I was aware of the nursery when I was a little girl, and I have friends whose relatives were part of the development of the gardens. So that was very exciting. And then when this was scheduled, I started looking around the old Porter home and was inspired by the wonderful view into the administration building right across the way from where I'm standing. It's the green windowsills and the begonias, and catching all of the reflection off the glass of the mesquite, and also more in the distance other trees. So I just found it a real exciting challenge, but also I was interested in the fact that it was right here at Tucson Botanical Gardens.
Lucy, the title of your current exhibit is Reflecting on Light. The play of light in these paintings makes this theme seem spot on. Can you tell us more about Reflecting on Light and how you chose these paintings specifically for this exhibit?
Sure. Here again is another window of the administration building over around the corner from here. And I was really interested in these reflections. There are so many abstractions. This little stuff happening here really happened. I worked from a photograph, and yet when you look in, you see a lamp that somebody has and a little pile of things on a mail holder. But then also I'm looking through the window, looking out on the other side. So it was a real study of abstraction. The title of the exhibit, Reflections on Light, really came from the staff. I was asked how I wanted to title it, and I said I've never titled an exhibit that I had. So they came up with 2 or 3 ideas, and I thought this was perfect because that's what I do, and I think all artists do. They reflect on light in one way or the other, either abstractly or more representationally.
Lucy, lastly, is there anything else you'd like for us to know about your exhibit Reflecting on Light? Is there something special that you would tell Gardens visitors as they stand here in the gallery?
I tell them I'm happy that they're here to see my work. I work very hard. I'm focused. I just like to think about what I do with my art. And I'm delighted that there is the opportunity to be here. I'm delighted to have you open your doors for me. And I just want you to enjoy it.
Thank you, Lucy.